Round one of the NBA draft is complete, and we all know who was going in the top four. We just didn't really know what order it was going to be at. Debanza has been the number one pick for months now, it seems like. Peterson going number two to the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz. We got to talk about them. What do you think the ceiling could be for this team with basically now in win now mode? You got Triple J, Larry Markkinen, Ace Bailey, Darren Peterson. You got a core forming. What do you think the Jazz will look like this season?
I was already excited, and then once they got the second overall pick and it started leaning toward Peterson, it's pretty cool because they have a lot of size in their front court and their forwards, and they had good guards. It was more just a question of mixing the way these guards are playing together with the rest of the roster. Because Collier, he's pretty good with playmaking and hitting the occasional shot. Really good passer. Keontae George, not really like a point guard in my mind. I think he has that quality, but sometimes I felt like he was a little inefficient for like my liking if he's going to be your guard that's playing all these minutes. Um, and Peterson could be that too at his floor, but I think just like the upside of him mixing him in with this guard room opens the door for some pretty good play throughout the whole team, just from 1 to 5 on whoever's on the floor. So I'm pretty excited, but it's always going to be a packed conference. It's a packed league, honestly, at this
Yeah.
point. Like we could really like a team, and realistically, they're going to be like the 12th seed, and that's probably the fate for this Jazz team. But they're going to be fun to watch, and that's kind of really it's really all I care about for the most part. Just having fun watching, maybe rooting for some guys that I like, and just having a good grasp on the betting markets.
Yeah. This is probably the best spot I would say for Peterson to go just because they already have a lot of those talented guys that can be the face of the team and take over some nights. I mean, they took Ace Bailey super high in the draft last year, and he'll have some good veterans to learn from. Moving on, Boozer at number three at Memphis. I think he's just that grit and grind, typical like Grizzlies player that shout out to Cam Spencer, just one of those guys that's going to get in his work day in and day out. I think we could look back and he could be the best player. I could see any of the top four being the best player in 5 years from this draft. The fit in Memphis is going to be interesting. We'll have to see what happens with Ja Morant, but this is now Boozer squad and Boozer City. How do you feel about him going three?
I like it a lot. I already like their roster like a good deal as it is, but adding him to this kind of giving them, like a reliable forward that's going to be out there because with Edie's injuries and Jaron Jackson being traded, there's still more to look for. They got Gigi Jackson in that room, Hendricks and Prosper. They're probably going to be returning. They showed some good promise in the back half of this season. But yeah, it's Boozer now, and he's really going to be able to kind of be, as I said, that lead guy in the big man rotation with minutes. He's going to get to learn behind some good players. I really like their system, top to bottom, and I think it just fits really well. This is something they needed, kind of like that connecting big man who can hit down a shot, can make the right pass, give you steady big man things. So I really like the fit there because they were a pretty guard depth heavy room in my opinion. So this was a good hole to fill.
And last but not least, Caleb Wilson to the Bulls. I know you're probably feeling some kind of way about this. His athleticism just didn't look real. It's just a matter of health wise, and then how much can he expand offensively? What are your expectations for him in year one?
No high expectations. I don't want to put that on someone this young. And, as some people were saying, he is still kind of a raw talent. So I'm just going to be looking for like the fun plays and like the flashes of what he can be. It's kind of what the deal was like with when Buzelis was a rookie. This probably is devastating for Noah Essengay, who never even really got to play. But this is pretty much, from what I kind of remember, this is kind of what we were projecting Essengay to be like. Is what this Caleb Wilson kind of, for the most part, archetype is. But no, it's going to be really cool. I really like the Bulls kind of front court now with him and Buzelis. and then whatever they want to go with down the line at the center position. But as of now, it'll be a pretty fun team. So I'm happy for the Bulls. Also, they're the 15th overall pick, the guy from Texas, Swain. Seems like another kind of guy in this mix that could do pretty well because he's a transition player and can give you some defense, like in an upside. So yeah, I'm really happy as a Bulls fan coming out of this draft.
Yeah, I think we'll get to some of our favorite picks. These next four picks, we knew the players were going to go in a certain kind of way. Darius Acuff is the one that really stands out going to the Kings. Their most exciting guard. They've had Halliburton, they've had Fox, and now it's Acuff time in Sacramento. Is he going to be Kyrie, or do you think something a little bit less? Maybe could be a Trae Young situation where he is a little bit more on the shorter side, and the defense could be a concern, but the offense is there, and the shooting has been mentioned, the playmaking. I just feel like it's a black hole. I think Sacramento's just a black hole for the guards, and I just can't see I mean, they had the light the beam season, but it's just been purgatory other than that one season.
It's been the same thing with Sacramento for how many ever years. It's just we'll wait and see. uh, and the guards that are good, they end up getting traded. So, you know, maybe he'll just play his way out of Sacramento, and that's what's going to happen with him at his ceiling. Uh, I actually did want to note I had a little bit of a slip up there for the Bulls. They do have Claxton at the center rotation. Just cool, exciting times. So how that kind of goes in with my Caleb Wilson thoughts is just a lot of length and a lot of size that we can have in that front court. Yeah, Acuff. I mean, Sacramento kind of needed a guard of the future to be excited for, and they got a guy that could be pretty exciting and give something that they're a good home crowd. Give something that crowd to look at. So I'm pretty happy with Sacramento getting this. That's kind of where I was kind of thinking he was going to go because it didn't seem like Wagler was really going to fall that low. But yeah, do you have any other thoughts on this kind of four guard little pick here, 5, 6, 7, 8?
Wagler was one of those prospects that kind of came out of nowhere, and he had like a really good season. He's kind of like that new age, like herky jerky Halliburton type of player where he's not the fastest, he's not the best shooter, but he just gets to his spots and gets to the rim, which those players make me nervous because they could be those not quite Luka Doncic, but those players that aren't the fastest, but they just have the IQ, it seems like. We'll have to see what happens with the Clippers. Maybe he'll be a good compliment, but there's been guards for the Clippers that I thought were going to be good, and then obviously, SGA was booted out of there real quick, but they've had those guards that I've liked, but they just haven't really come to fruition. And then Michael Brown, I've heard some good things where he's a home run hitter and he can go on some streaks, but there's times where he's just turning the ball over and I don't really know what to make of it. And then the Hawks, I think they were just looking for a replacement for Trae Young. I've heard good things of Kingston Flemings, but also um, we'll have to kind of see. I mean, my favorite out of the four is Acuff, but also those smaller guards, you never really know. Brunson, I think this is the best time for Acuff to capitalize on it because the small guard is in now with Brunson just going on an absolute rampage. Three of the next four picks were Michigan Wolverines. And Morez Johnson going to Dallas, I really like that fit. You can always use those big 3-and-D wings, or even like the stretch four. And Dusty May was saying how he was the heartbeat of the team. And now with him being at Dallas, they take him over who a lot of people thought was Michigan's best player last year, Yaxel Lendenborg, going to the Warriors. Braden Burries, my guy from Arizona. He could have been with Cooper Flag or Steph Curry and ended up in Milwaukee after the whole Giannis. I don't really know what to make of that trade. I mean, Miami had to do something and Milwaukee had to get rid of Giannis. But I just kind of think it's kind of a lose-lose situation because I don't think Giannis is going to make Miami a title contender. I've seen places where they've had Miami fifth in terms of winning the title. And I just think that is ludicrous. I think either of them would be happy to make the play in at this point. I don't know what to make of the Milwaukee and Miami trade.
Uh, hey, good for Miami. They've been striking out on these stars for what feels like the whole decade. So that for them finally to win, like, it seems like the biggest ticket item, maybe a couple years too late, but still, it's that star, that business. He's just going to be bringing in business too. There's so much more to this trade than just basketball. That's so good for Miami. Yeah, they're pretty thin. They gave up a lot of pieces, and it's like how many of these pieces were super important to them. Even if they were exciting, because here there's been times where there's been a good sample size where they've been better without them, and the minutes with Ware was always like interesting. I think kind of all sides of the story there are in play where it's like, hey, he is good, but there's also flaws to his game. And then there's the stuff with Spoelstra where it's like, oh yeah, he doesn't want to play him, he doesn't like him, and then Spoelstra denies it. There's been valid times that he's talked about it. So, and then along with that, it's like Hawkes. Last year he had a sophomore slump. This year he was much better and was a six-man finalist. So he's kind of like, I would be pretty excited for Milwaukee getting Hawkes in here. I think this is really going to be the season where it's like, is he going to be able to do this efficiently? Is his playmaking going to develop in the way that you'd like to? If you're going to put kind of this, you know, hopeful investment that he's going to be something for you in the next 3 years. And then Yaku Shonis is just like the young guy that could be good. He was exciting. He had some good minutes this year. Um, but hey, you get another lottery pick in it, so they're bringing in two lottery picks as well. I'd say this is a big win for Miami. Big is strong because they would have gotten more for Giannis a couple years ago, but they have a lot of options now, a lot of young pieces. Where if they don't kind of pan out or if they move on from them, it's not the end of the world. And then draft capital, so it's cool. They kind of got some cap relief, even though they didn't get rid of Kuzma in it, but still. As for Miami, it's you're gonna have to do a lot for this front court because it seems like they're gonna lose Norman Powell. That's what I've read. So you're telling me your front court now is like Bam, Bobby Portis, and Giannis because they might want to move off Jovic too. We're gonna see the Heat get to work here in free agency and more trades to come. So that'll be something to look for.
OKC potentially getting the Wemby stopper in a Adai Mara out of Michigan, the 7-3 big. I mean, he showed flashes, the passing, the shot can use a little bit of work, but I think I think Mara could really fit in well in Oklahoma City. And then one of my favorite players, Bennett Sturts out of Iowa, going from Division II Missouri State to Drake to Iowa, and now is with the Thunder. And I think just when you get drafted in that Thunder infrastructure, you're set up for success. We'll have to see what he does if he could be that guard coming off the bench in a couple years, helping him out. We'll have to see with that. And then as you know, we move down the line, Phylon going to the Sixers, another exciting guard, an athlete. Those Alabama guards they're just they've since Colin Sexton, they've just been cranking out good guard prospect after good guard prospect. Any other thoughts going down the line? You know, you got Caravan going to the Cavs. He could be a Max Strus S player, one of the best shooters in the draft. What are you seeing as we look at the last half of this draft?
Sorry, my computer just yeah, with Phylon going to the Sixers, it's like kind of a trend now that the Sixers keep getting these guards that were exciting in college and kind of had a little bit of a stock fall off. So that's Maxey, Jared McCain, and now Phylon. I'd say overall, I like I like the Charlotte getting Steinbach, and I also liked the Bucks getting Nate Ament. Um, Kind of that upside with being a tall, lengthy scorer who could shoot it well. And then the Hornets on Steinbach is, Kalkbrenner and Diabate were good. And they even ran a little bit of Plumlee early in the year before they waived him, but I think it's good getting another young guy in there because their kind of center rotation wasn't fully proven, even though they all kind of shown their signs. I think when you have that many young guys, it's not the worst thing in the world to bring one in if you're not so sure about one being a stud. So I liked that pick there. Um, I forgot who were you talking about before you brought up A Cub?
Um, Caravan went to the Cavs. There were some other good guys like Joshua Jefferson going to Brooklyn. He was a solid Iowa State guy, kind of do it all. It's crazy because
Oh,
from pick 20 on, they were all the picks were traded or via trades except the Celtics. The Celtics just stood pat at 27, and Chris Sinek, I mean, I've heard he's a very raw prospect, but a decent rebounder. It's always just like throwing darts at the dartboard. I feel like after the lottery, it's just if you hit with one of them, that's huge. But at the end of the day, you'll just be happy if they can just make the rotation or just help out as best they can. Really, at that point.
yeah. I remembered what it was. I had some Thunder thoughts. I feel like it's really likely that the Thunder are going to decline this Hartenstein team option, get him try and get him for cheap. Um, Aaron Wiggins, dude, like shift off to Atlanta. He could be really good there for all we know. Like, sure he fell out of the rotation, but he was still really good, and he's got a good contract. I'm scared for what this means for Risache.
Mm.
There's a lot of guys in that room now that are probably above him. So, and then they get Mara, which is just like I think perfect because the Thunder can afford more than to take kind of like these risky developmental picks. Like with Topic, he already was injured and they still grabbed him. It was like, yeah, we can kind of have this guy sit as a redshirt freshman and develop him. Sorbet, they didn't choose to do that. He tore his Achilles, but he's going to be a rookie this year. I almost wonder if they might throw him in a trade just because he's making a chunk of money and they need to shed as much of those small contracts as they can. Like when they drafted Sturts, I was like, oh my god, that probably means Isaiah Joe could be out of here too. And it's like they just got McCain, so it's like they're gonna have a pretty good guard room now.
Hmm.
Um, but I think I hit everything there on like the Thunder end of it. But they should really try and get Hartenstein back. If they lose him, then you're looking at a little bit of like a okay, we need either Sorbet or Mara to play some backup big minutes for us this year. Not that much because they still have big Jalen Williams, but one of those guys would have to show some proof this year. Um, Draft wise, it's kind of mostly everything I was interested in.
Noah Pete, the last pick, got drafted by the
Yeah,
Mavericks, traded to the Suns,
your
staying in
boy.
Arizona, Mr. Arizona. That was huge because at the beginning of the season, I mean, the first game of the year, he dropped 30 points against Florida. I thought he was going to be in like the top 10, but then his stock really fell, and I thought he was going to fall out of the first round, but drafted by the Suns. I'm glad the Suns are just. You saw Booker change his number to 15. He's in the Kobe second half, I guess. He changed it to 15 because of Team USA. So he's definitely one of those Kobe idols that are deciding it's a little bit of a change in his career. So they're adding a wing that we'll have to see what he does in the summer league. Summer league is always the best. I haven't personally been, but I would be very excited to go, especially with all these prospects. It's a talent-rich class, and looking back in 5 years, I'm trying to think of who I could see sneaking up there. I really do like Corey, the Stanford guard. He showed some flashes of Trey Young at Oklahoma. Going to Detroit. Detroit's an interesting team. Duran, what's that situation going to turn out to be? And I mean, they made a lot of progress. So adding that smaller guard maybe could just be that spark plug off the bench that they need to get over the hump. We'll have to see what happens. It's just such a talent-rich league. And like we even talked about Utah, they have all the talent, but I mean, 12 seed very well could be the case. I do think the draft lottery does make it a little bit more interesting with the trades now because it's not just, oh, you know that. Brooklyn's going to be one of the worst teams, so we might as well try to get one of their picks. It's a little different now, and teams we've seen the Nets getting Julius Randle, those good stats, bad team guys aren't going to be as big of a problem with this new lottery system. So it's going to be really interesting to see. I'm trying to see any other players. The first Mexican-born player, Karim Lopez to the Grizzlies. It's it's just a bunch of internationals on here too. You got a guy from Spain, the big guy from Connecticut going to the Spurs. Terrace Reed's a like absolute tank. He's kind of built like a baby Jalen Duren. Yeah, I wasn't able to watch the draft because I was at work, but I miss it. I miss watching it.
So the Spurs drafted two big men.
Yeah, they got
Wow, dude, I love that for them
yeah. Just go all the
because
way in on ties.
yeah, and those guys could fit so well with Wimby. Um, I'm sure they were not wanting to move forward with Olenek, Cornette, and Plumlee and Biombo as their center depth rotation going forward. Um, I don't know. I was about to fire off an anti-Cornette take, but
You
good
got
for the
Anthony
Spurs
Cornette?
bringing in these two guys. Not anti. I think he's cool. It's just pretty overrated.
Really? He's just kind of, rim running like energy guy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But your backup center behind Wimby, not
He's
for
done
me.
better.
And well, and he's old too. He's been around for a while. It's
Yeah.
kind of shout out to him. He freaking stuck out the G League and all that process two ways. He made it through. He got paid. So full respect to the player, but my point is the Spurs should not be moving forward with him as their first center up behind Wimby.
Yeah. Well, it'll be an interesting go of it in summer league. We're in the off season, man. We're in the off season. Things are getting strange. I watched
It's the
that
best part of the
Glenn Powell
it's the
movie.
best part of the season.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I watched that Glenn Powell movie, How to Make a Killing.
Oh yeah, I saw you logged that on Letterboxd.
Yeah. It
Um,
was solid. I'm all in on Glenn Powell. Like I'll watch anything with him, honestly.
mm,
Matter the
dude,
quality.
I agree because I liked Hitman.
Yeah.
He's kind of just a fun guy to watch. Are you gonna watch Disclosure Day?
I don't know if I can. Is it worth? Oh, if you need to talk about it for a little bit, go for it. Not worth the price.
Um, well, did you see my Letterboxd review on it?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you like a lot of Spielberg movies, then I'd say go for it, just because it's almost like a duty of watching a famous directors like that. Their new movies, especially when they're old. But I've never really been a huge Spielberg fan, and I did not really like this movie at all. But it was still cool in some aspects. It wasn't just like a full on dog shit show, but there were times where I thought it was cool, but there were more times when just couldn't take it. Just didn't like it. Um, there's I don't know. Actually, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't want to go into it too much. I
Are you
like Josh
an
O'Connor a
Blunt
lot.
fan?
What'd you say?
Are you an Emily Blunt fan?
Not really.
No.
So maybe that's to do with it. I don't think she's that great. Um, and I like Josh O'Connor a decent bit. Just not in this movie. But I did say it's not his fault. I think it's more so he fell victim to poorly written lines and probably the direction that Spielberg gave him. But that's kind of just like the Spielberg film thing. Those close up shots with like the violin music going on. It's just not really special to me. So
Yeah, this
that's
summer's
my take.
it's been an interesting movie summer. You had Michael making a bunch of money, Obsession, Backrooms going crazy. I mean, Obsession, like almost in the like $400 million range now. Just like absolute crazy. Crazy.
Dude, I saw a clip of it today on something, but it was like what are the main guy characters in like the car with a girl, and then some. I assume the obsessed girlfriend breaks through the window and is like smashing her head.
Yeah.
That scared me.
Yeah. In the theater, that it got me the second time because the timing of it was just unreal because you knew it was going to happen. You saw the setup, you just didn't know when it was going to come out of nowhere. Crazy.
Did you see Backrooms?
I haven't seen Backrooms yet, but you saw it?
Do you plan to?
I could see it soon, yeah.
Or like if you do you want to see it? I assumed
Yeah.
you would for the
Yeah.
horror. I thought it was cool. I'm glad that it was made.
Would you go in it?
Would I go in the back rooms?
Yeah, would you go on set or check it out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think the like concept is so cool. It's it's gonna be funny to see what these studio executives or green light now or approve of because they think because it was kind of just its own thing. But I don't know if there's gonna be like this whole conspiracy theory like Reddit board stuff like that because it was just built up its own little thing. I don't know if it'll be a trend of where we see these certain trends getting greenlit. I don't know.
It's almost an analytical decision because you see something like the back rooms, which is just a YouTube series, but it's doing numbers and it gets adapted. I feel like there's been another story of this recently where something like got adapted, like kind of in this ballpark of like online communities. This isn't the example I was thinking of. It's more of a lesser strength one. But remember in 2021 when those meme stocks were going up, they made a movie about that. It's just what gets attention, we're going to make it. And then these kind of movies that we've been seeing lately are more younger generation ideas, like kind of forming out of that. And so that could be kind of where we're going in the future, just with what I guess our generation starts kind of creating and goes viral for us. Um, it could be going that way. We'll see.
Rookie of the year, if you had to place a bet today, Debanza, the field,
Uh, I'd rather take the field than Debanza if the odds are even. But um, well, I'm trying to think who's going to get the most playing time. Like Boozer could play a lot.
Boozer, yeah.
Peterson, I don't. Who knows if Peterson plays a lot, just because over the years with the Jazz, we've seen players not play full seasons. DeBanza probably going to get a lot of volume. He's up there, I would guess. But Wizards kind of did the same thing last year. I don't know. Are these 10-kid rules going to do something? We'll see. So I like Boozer's chances because I think he's going to play a lot and they might be competitive. Memphis, like they'll be fighting in games. They're probably not going to. Maybe they're a 9 or 10 seed if all goes well, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I still think he'll play a big role. Um, Wilson, well, it's interesting with Wilson with Splitter coming in. Um, Splitter played rookies a little bit this year with the Trailblazers, and Donovan wasn't ever really too much into doing that, especially early in the season. So I remember I liked Buzelis as a rookie of the year pick. If there was a second half of the season award, rookie of the year, he probably would have won it. His rookie year, it's just he didn't play in the first half. So Splitter coming in, maybe who knows? Maybe Caleb Wilson does get 20, at least 24 minutes a night for the whole season. I feel like that's enough. So yeah, the top four, I think they all have interesting cases. Particularly probably Boozer the most. Outside of it, I don't really know what kind of minutes we're going to be seeing guaranteed to anyone. Maybe the Clippers have some kind of another gapish year. Who knows what happens with Kawhi and Wagler gets a lot of run because that guard room is kind of open. I think he could come in and play some minutes if he's proven it. Um, Not necessarily open because they still have Garland and Matherin, but I think if he comes in hot and he's playing well, they're just going to roll with him. Um, I don't really like anyone else's chances outside of the top five, to be honest. Maybe one of these Bucks guys ends up really getting good if they kind of are bad this year.
Burry's just going off for 20.
Yeah, yeah. So rookie of the year, I think it's in the top four because I don't think Fleming's is an awesome case, but top four. I think it'll be a top four guy.
Last but not least, how should I feel about the Jaylen Brown situation? Should I want him back, or do you think this is time to just get ready for him to be traded? Like, if you had to bet on it, do you think he's going to be a Boston Celtic opening day?
Um, well, if I had any trust in a franchise salvaging a relationship with a player, I feel like the Celtics are up there and the chances of doing it. But Brown is his own personality. It's just kind of the way he's carried himself in this league. So I would probably put it at like a 75-25 chance that he gets traded. I think it's probably likely Brown is gone. Um, because I mean, he kind of talked about it. It was his favorite season. I forget if that quote was taken out of context or not, or if it was just straight like that. Um, and then whenever you kind of come this close to getting traded, and I think it's happened a lot with Brown, a couple times at least, and then there's always been talks since really the Jays got together. It probably is going to happen. That's kind of where I lie with it.
Who should
As
we
far
want?
as if you
Trey
wanted
Murphy?
to, oh yeah, I mean, what we were talking about that probably a month ago. If you get Trey Murphy for Brown,
And like
it'll be
Herb
more.
Jones,
Yeah,
throwing a pick.
Yeah, Murphy Jones. That's really good.
Yeah,
Like
I think that's the one I
I
really want
like Murphy and Jones. You can add that into what you have, and then there's going to be more pieces coming in probably.
because I know they
Um,
really want a big man.
yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of any of the free agent big man.
Well, you did well with Kata.
Yeah,
Like it could just be another committee year.
yeah. We just might need
Herb
one
Jones
more.
at five closing out matches. I mean,
Yeah,
if you got a if you have a Tatum, Murphy, Herb Jones as your three tallest guys closing out a game, unless you're playing like Wimby or Jokic, I think you're fine.
yeah. And I don't want to trade Derek White. I mean, I know he had a little bit of a slump last year, but
Been
it's just
seeing
tough
that.
getting rid of these guys, man. When you build up that like fondness of them, it's tough.
Yeah,
But how you feeling about the Bulls? You like their
I'm
moves?
excited. Yeah, I'm excited. R.I.P. Stacey King though.
Yeah, facts.
Rest in peace. He really wasn't like a great league pass broadcaster to watch, like flipping around. Granted, I had a lot of sample size with it, but he was really funny. His like cookies. I'm not going to do it right now, but he would like if there was a steal, he'd be like cookies and make like the cookie guy sound. That was like one of the staples that I always thought was pretty funny. You should look up a video of it because I'm not going to do it right now. Um, but yeah, rest in peace to him. Um, I guess it's while this is on my mind. I listened to a few games this year, like on the radio, instead of watching the league pass. I kind of put games on the radio. And it's kind of cool. You should try it out.
Yeah, running the radio. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're working or doing things around the house and there's a game on, the radio is kind of cool. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah. I used to run the radio back in the day. Um, yeah, listening to it is a different experience for sure. Because sometimes watching it, I'll just kind of get into a daze, especially like those long stretches where it's just you're just watching the same thing over and over. But you get a good radio guy, I mean, it can change everything. So league pass
Hmm.
grind. We'll take a little break from basketball for a bit. We're at that weird limbo. I'm not really into World Cup, any of the World Cup matches. I'm just taking a nice break, and then Summer League will
Oh
be here soon though, so might
yeah,
have to lock into those games.
yeah. I'll tell you what. I've been super into following tennis for probably a year now, and right now things are really great. So that's what I've been invested in at the
US
moment with
Open.
sports.
I might have to get into it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. French Open just happened. Wimbledon is about to start. So it's pretty nice way to start the morning, just watching some tennis because
I've been
you're
ripping
up
the
and running.
rewatchables, the from Hell month,
Yeah,
locked in on it.
yeah, yeah.
Domestic
It's great.
disturbance really bad, but it was a good, Vince Vaughn like just watching him in anything. But it was really rough,
Mhm.
real cheesy. They got the Good Son tomorrow. Macaulay Culkin goes evil. That one's actually fire.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these movies that they just announced. These next five, I don't really listen to a lot of their stuff to be honest, just because I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Um, but it is fun that way because it's like, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie for the rewatchables. Like I did that. I did that for Rosillo. I watched. Oh my gosh, I just saw it like on the catalog yesterday. The
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 town.
2015 Boston newspaper
Oh, Spotlight.
Spotlight.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
to rip that. I think I barely watched it one
Oh, in
time.
the town. I
Yeah.
watched both Spotlight and the town for Rosillo's rewatchable.
Thanks for joining, boss.